Very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for making time for Citizen at 1. I'm Willis Sabura. Our top story this hour, a case filed by the Wiper Party seeking to compel the Independent and Electoral Boundaries Commission to include its candidate's name on the ballot paper of the Makueni senatorial by-election is currently in a closed-door meeting at the High Court. We are now joined by Alex Chamwada with more details. Alex, if you can hear me, bring us up to speed. What is happening at the court area, and also what is the latest? Because Agnes Nete had also filed a notice. Is there any news on that regard as well?
Now, Raboro, regarding the notice that had been filed by former Kibwezi MP Agnes Ndete on Monday, seeking to challenge the clearing of Kilonzo Jr. to vie for the election on the grounds that the deadline for clearing candidates had passed, that we've not had any updates so far. But what we know is that the hearing into the case that was filed by the Wiper Party last evening was supposed to begin at 11, but it hasn't begun yet. Parties to the case are currently in a meeting, and now I'm joined by Mombasa Senator Hassan Omar, who was walking into that meeting, but he can have a moment with us before he goes into the meeting. Now, Senator Omar, without going into the merits and the demerits of the case, what is happening?
As a party and as a coalition, we are particularly concerned about the proposal by IBC with respect to altering the ballots to include MUTULA Jr. First and foremost, we believe it is a contempt of court because they had given a fundamental assurance through their legal representatives during the hearing of the Kefi Kilonzo case that should the court decide, then the candidate will definitely be on the ballot. Number two, the court did decide, and decided so on Friday of last week. And therefore, there was ample opportunity for IEBC to ensure that there was a ballot with Kalonzo on it, MUTULA Kilonzo Jr. on it this particular Friday. So our concern is the proposal to stick onto the ballots. So I think we want a consensus in terms of how, through a court, a directive or order that will ensure that the sanctity of that ballot is protected, because we are looking at it in the long term. In the event of any other, eventuality in the election, sticking on can mean you can stick it out. So that kind of a situation.
But the Chief Electoral Officer of IEBC, James Oswago, made an assurance, or rather said yesterday that despite the challenges they are facing, MUTULA Kilonzo Jr.'s name will be clearly on the ballot and properly printed on the ballot. You didn't take that as a proper assurance?
I think they have made several assurances on a number of things. But I think that assurance must be backed by court, so that in the eventuality that is not the case, then I think we have reasonable grounds in terms of pursuing further interventions should we so require. And I believe IBC was the same IBC that yesterday morning that told our team, including our chairman David Musila, that they were simply going to stick onto the ballot. The same IBC then assures us in public. I think they cannot have a double speak. They have to be firm in their position. I think we have rejected the proposal to stick MUTULA Kilonzo's name on the ballot, and I do believe that's the deliberation that we want to conclude here, and I do not feel that it will be right to preempt it, but definitely our concerns are genuine, and that's the concern of many other Kenyans. The integrity of an election must be safeguarded, and I think we have IBC on this matter has been far less than protected the integrity of the process.
Yeah, of course, their lawyers are in that meeting that is going on. I wish I could get them on camera, but what are the risks here? Should that order not be forthcoming and MUTULA Kilonzo Jr.'s name is not properly on the ballot, or put by a sticker the way you say, what happens next?
I think the party will decide. I think the party will not allow a situation where they miss out on opportunity to recapture its rightful seat. I do believe the ground is overwhelmingly in our support, and what we need to ensure is the integrity of the process. So I do believe we will have a decision if that order will not be granted, but I will not want also to speculate. But whatever the consequences, we will capture that seat, and I think a decision that will be made that will be pragmatic within the context or the realities that confront us.
Any chances of this being settled out of the court?
I think the IBC, we cannot, interfere with the transactions or operations of IBC. I was a commissioner myself. I know how sometimes guarded independent bodies are, and IBC believes in its integrity rather than all of us believing in it. So what happens is they need to demonstrate that through action. So I believe by now they should, if they were just sincere, they should be putting reasonable measures to have that particular ballot in the way it is properly, described as a ballot. We don't want any stick-ons. This is not a kangaroo process. These are not test cases. Kenya cannot be an example for all the bad things.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Alex.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Raburu, that is the update from here. Milimani Law Courts, as you've heard, the hearing hasn't begun. Parties to that case are still in a closed door meeting. If it happens, we will be covering that live. Raburu.
Thank you so much, Alex Chamada. Alex Chamada there at the Milimani Courts, or the High Court sitting there in Nairobi. Of course, the case filed by Wiper to make sure that Mutula Kilonzo's name is on the ballot paper is ongoing. Alex Chamada is covering that, and Citizen TV will bring you live updates to that effect. Let's move on. And police in Athi River are holding 4 suspects for being in possession of stolen goods. The goods are recovered in a residential house in Syokimau Estate along Mombasa Road. Now, according to the Athi River OCPD, Beatrice Kiragori, the suspects were arrested after police tracked down 2 canter lorries ferrying the said items.
Police made great strides in the fight against theft after recovering stolen goods in Syokimau. They managed to crack a syndicate which they believe has been behind thefts in the area. The goods suspected to have been stolen 3 days ago in a godown in Embakasi were recovered during the raid. The police say that robbers struck in one of the godowns and made away with 2 trucks filled with gas cylinders of various sizes, 400 cartons of wine and spirits, bales of flour, among other items. They were later nabbed by police at Syokimau in a residential house. The suspects are said to have provided the police with crucial information which may lead to the arrests of other robbers. Masharia Mwangi, Citizen at 1.
Now, police in Nairobi have seized 410 pieces of explosive devices on a bus headed to Mombasa. The explosives packed in 2 cartons and disguised as books were recovered by detectives before the bus took off. Now, Central OCPD Patrick Oduma said the man who sent the devices is at large. Oduma added that the deadly devices had originated from Tanzania and that the motive of transporting them to Mombasa is yet to be established. Detectives from the Anti-Terror Police Unit are holding the bus driver for questioning. We'll continue to update you with this story as it develops. We'll be bringing you that information as well. Now, an elderly Mombasa-based businessman has been killed by a 6-man gang who raided his spare parts shop located along the Moi Avenue. His grandson was also shot in the arm and is currently receiving treatment at a private hospital in Mombasa. According to 2 eyewitnesses, the 6 gangsters posed as customers before pouncing on the businessman. Police are still investigating the attack.
Wakati hiyo kesa imeanza tumesikia mlio wa risasi. Nikiwa huko ndani kwa kibanda napika. Nikashtuka nikasema ni kunguru ndio ankanyaga waya ama nini? Customer kaniambia hapana. Ya pili tukasikia tena sauti. Sasa hiyo ya pili harakati tuwatoka tukakuta ni majambazi. Kufika hapo ndani tukakuta mzee ashapigwa risasi ameanguka chini ashakufa.
Na serikali isipoingilia haya maneno ya hizi pikipiki kutembea town kwa sababu ndio inasababisha wizi mwingi. Na serikali, naomba serikali iingilie kwa bidii sana kwa sababu wizi wote unaotendeka katika area ya town inakuwa ni mambo ya sio gari, sasa ni mapikipiki. Na tunaomba mkubwa wa polisi wa hapa area Mombasa ashughulikie, afuatilie maneno haraka sana kwa sababu inaumiza watu na imuua mzee bure.
Now, let's move over to Kakamega County, where the Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has ordered the immediate closure of a quarry operating in Lukuyani constituency in Kakamega County due to health and environmental hazards it poses. This follows complaints by residents that explosions from the quarry have caused women to lose their pregnancies while others have become deaf. The residents have also blamed low crop production to the quarry, which they say has also led to medical complications such as lung problems. More than 50 households have been affected directly by the operations being undertaken at the quarry, situated on a 1.5-hectare piece of land.
I had to consult very widely, and we thought we take a quick measure to stop the suffering of the people. And if they are not going to stop, obviously, we are going to take court action.
Now, it is estimated that more than 30 people have died in the attacks between Turkana and Pokot communities over a long-running border dispute. The deaths that have occurred since January have heightened animosity, and community leaders from each side are now asking the government to act swiftly to avert further losses.
Border dispute along the Turkana and West Pokot counties has claimed more than 30 lives since the beginning of the year. And the cause of the attacks is said to be border dispute between the two neighboring communities. The attacks, according to leaders, are related to cattle rustling. Leaders from both communities, led by Senator John Lonyangapuo, have threatened to sue the government over negligence. He says failure by the government to demarcate the boundaries between the two counties has always been the cause of the conflict.
Lakini ile tumeamua kabisa serikali lazima ifanye ni waende waangalie map ya West Pokot 1963. Waangalie map ya Turkana County 1963. Kuna beacons iliwekwa na wazungu.
Leaders also urge the government to deploy more security officers along the border in order to boost security and avoid cross-border cattle raids.
Now, the Garissa County government is now set to embark on a headcount exercise to ascertain the exact number of its workers as part of a wider strategy to streamline operations. Those who worked for the national government as well as those who worked for the Garissa County Council will be counted. The purpose of this is to ascertain the number of workers the county now has in a bid to streamline operations of the country. County Governor Nadif Jama said the exercise would help cut down on unnecessary expenses. He spoke during the swearing-in ceremony of the county public service boards.
Into account, looking at all the people who have been counted, looking at their qualities, their qualifications, their value proposition to the county, and where we believe that staff are not adding value, then it's for these people to tell us that these are our recommendations on the way forward. Do we need to employ new people? Do we need just to keep the old ones? All this is really the mandate, a very, very important mandate of this committee.
Now to a very interesting story here. Most of you are familiar with the phrase, there's a new sheriff in town. Well, there is a new sheriff in town, the head of a special unit in the Nairobi City Council, known as the Anti-Urinating Squad. Now, this squad comprises of men whose sole mission is to arrest the bad-mannered among us, those who urinate in public. Now, next time you answer a call of nature on that wall or that hidden corner, be warned, it could land you in jail for a period of up to 6 months. Let's take a look.
They look right, left, right again, like they're about to cross a busy road. Then when it's clear, instead of crossing the road, they do it. It is the most open secret, but to these people, it remains the most hidden one. Even with their faces visible, finding people answering a call of nature in such places in Nairobi City County is common. In fact, it is routine, and surprisingly, no one questions them, at least when we watched. So with each one of them making a stop on the same spot at intervals of seconds, the county officials have identified what they call
hotspot areas whereby men are used to go and help themselves.
There's a new sheriff in town, a man who heads men who will arrest anyone found doing this in the wrong place.
We formed a team comprising of about 20 men. That is a special unit.
and is led by one of our officers called Sergeant Gary.
The special unit, or if you like it, the anti-urinating squad, are not your normal city-county askaris.
That is a rapid response. They only visit the hotspot areas.
The seconds of relieving oneself in the wrong place could mean
wanajua hata wakati ule wanakojoa ukimwangalia vizuri lazima apidue chingo kushoto kulia, na wanajua ile kitu wanafanya ni hatia, lakini bahati mzuri wengine uponyoka, lakini wale wako na bahati mbaya hujikuta ya kwamba wako mikononi mwa sheria.
When arrested, you could end up in jail or pay a fine of between 500 to 1,000 shillings under the Nairobi City County General Nuisance Bylaws.
83 people.
The number of those arrested and prosecuted within a period of 1 month, and according to the Director of City Inspectorate presenting an exhibit in a court of law, is easy.
Tunaweza piga picha. Actually, I would say that women are disciplined than men.
For the 20-man anti-urinating squad, their 1-month experience could only mean arresting more Kenyans who are fond of doing this instead of using such facilities. So next time you answer a call of nature in that bush or corner you think is hidden, be very careful. Big Brother is watching. This is according to the City County of Nairobi. Judy Kosgei, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
All right, Judy Kosgei there tells us that Big Brother is watching. So next time that call of nature, do not answer it. You might spend 6 months just for answering that call of nature in a hidden spot. The National Land Commission has assured Narok residents that it will take up the matter on historical land injustices in the county and give proper guidance as mandated by the Constitution. The Commission Chairman Mohammed Swazuri says matters of historical injustices must be addressed to avoid land disputes.
The National Land Commission that toured Narok County received various grievances from the local residents who claimed the government had forcefully attempted to grab their 30,000-acre ancestral land and resettle people from other areas.
The whole point we were making today is to furnish the National Land Commission with indisputable evidence showing how this land was taken away illegally by the colonial government against the Maasai wishes.
The chairman of the commission, Mohammed Swazuri, however, said the land at the moment is in the hands of the Land Commission, and once investigation on who owns the land are over, it will advise on the matter accordingly.
We have also told these people that the commission is also mandated under Section 160 also to see how they can settle squatters. And the issue of squatters, you know, has generated a lot of problems. But as a commission, we know that the law is very clear on what to do with the squatters.
Swazuri also warned those who have put up buildings on road reserves, which are categorized as public land, will be demolished.
And our Royal Media's vernacular station, INOORO FM, marked its 10th anniversary in Nyandarua County. Thousands of fans gathered to celebrate the event at Old Kalao Nyayo Stadium, where they were treated to lots of fun and entertainment. Philippa Kioko brings us this story.
Residents thronged the stadium to mark the day where INOORO FM presenters engaged the audience with their favorite tunes in Kikuyu dialect. The revelers let themselves loose to the popular music at the event that saw INOORO FM turn 10 years old.
Nimefurahi sana kwa watu wa INOORO kuingia Kalau.
Fans thanked INOORO FM for the vast contribution in educating the mass.
Tumefurahishwa na INOORO juu tangu ianze for 10 years imekuwa imetuelimisha na mambo mengi ya ukulima, education na mambo ya siasa imetuelimisha sana.
Head of INOORO FM Zulu Thiongo commended the public and corporate organization for their overwhelming support, enabling the station to grow to greater heights despite the challenges the station had faced at the beginning.
Kadri tunavyoenda kuwa na mashabiki wengi ambao walikuwa wanatunga mkono, tukaweza kufanikiwa, na wakati huu tuko na jambo hilo la kuja kushukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya hapa tumefika. Kuna watu wengi ambao wamekuwa nyuma yetu, mashabiki wetu ambao hutusikiliza na watu ambao pia hutangaza matangazo yao ya biashara katika kituo cha INOORO. Tungependa kuwashukuru sana siku ya leo.
The radio station has lined up interesting and educative programs this year. Philippa Kioko, Citizen at 1.
Necessity, or so the saying goes, is the mother of invention. Now, a group of women in the sprawling Kibra slums have come up with creative ways of farming. Kirigongaro reports on the garden in a sack.
Yes, sack farming in the slum. Meet Rose Odhiambo, who is a mother of 3 and a casual laborer. And this is her farm. This kind of farming is popularly known here as sack farming. But just how does this kind of farming work?
Sasa ikikaa kidogo tena nachuna. Sababu inaendelea tu.
Inaendelea tu. Alafu ulikuwa unaniambia hapa ndio unakata tuseme kama hapa unarudisha?
Narudisha hapa kama imeshakuwa kabisa. Ndio nakata alafu narudisha tena kwa gunia. Ama nabadilisha hiyo gunia alafu nachukua mchanga ingine naweka alafu tena ndio naingiza sasa hizo saka ndani.
She waters her vegetables daily using water bought from a local water vendor. In 2 months, she is assured of food for her family and even surplus to sell to her neighbors.
Simenisaidia, saa ingine naweza kuwa siendi soko. Nisipoenda soko na nimekaukiwa kabisa huwa naichuna na watoto wanakula.
Well, we're still in Kibra and we're here looking out for another family that is practicing sack farming. Follow us.
Adhiambo is not alone. We meet Lucy Mwangi, a mother of 2, outside her vegetable shop. Hers is a different story. She has been a casual laborer for most of her life, but things changed after the 2007-2008 post-election violence. Unable to move out of Kibra at the time, luck came calling in the form of a non-governmental organization that trained Kibra residents about sack farming.
Walianza kunifundisha na mimi nikachukua hatua, nikakuwa na interest ya kutaka kujua.
And when she realized it wasn't costing her much, Lucy plunged into it.
Gunia empty peke yake nilinunua 20 shillings. Sasa mchanga ndio ilinikosti kwa ajili kabla, mnajua mchanga huko hakuna. Sasa mahali tulikuwa nienda kuchungua mchanga kama hii gunia, tulikuwa tunauziwa 60 bob. Sasa hiyo ingine mawe nilikuwa naenda nikirokota tu, sikuwa naona haya.
A venture her neighbors did not comprehend, with some of them laughing at her drying up plants. But those were just the teething problems.
Sasa unajua mara kwanza ukipanda, hiyo siku ya kwanza lazima starara. Ukambla hujamwagia maji, sitakaa zote zimelala. Lakini kumaliza wiki 2 ndio zilianza kubadilika.
It's not just about food security for her family or paying school fees for her daughters. She's also using this project as a guarantee to acquire loans.
Mtu nikimwambia nipe 200, ananipea kwa ajili anajua hata nikikosa nitakuja nimchunie mboga hata 20 bob. Nikimchunia leo, nikimchunia kesho, hivyo hata kosa kitu ya kumlipisha.
This land does not belong to her, but that has not stopped her from practicing farming, and now she's trying out maize farming.
Badala kuendanga kuomba kutafuta mahindi hata ya kuchoma, nikaona nijaribu nione kama nikipanda kwa gunia nisimamize hata gunia 2, nipande hiyo mahindi kama kuna vile inaweza nisaidia.
When it comes to controlling pests on her shamba, Lucy is all about using organic means for control.
Sigine siko na chemical na tujui hizo chemicals imetengenezwa na nini. Sasa tukitengeneza yetu ile tunatengeneza na pilipili na pilipili na kitunguu saumu, hiyo ni dawa, hiyo ni kitu tunajua ni chakula.
Lucy makes about 400 shillings from the sale of her vegetables every day, not forgetting the satisfaction and convenience that comes with it.
Thank you very much, Kirigo Ngara, for that informative piece. Now, campaigns for the Makueni senatorial seat end today, with political parties expected to maximize on the remaining hours to swing votes their way ahead of Friday's by-election. Our reporter Kenago Obadia has been pitched camp in Makueni and now joins us. Kenago, there is a case going on here in Nairobi to have MUTULA Jr.'s name on the ballot paper. Has that in any way affected the campaigns, or is it, as they say, business as usual on the final day?
Well, good afternoon to you, Willis. Of course, we are coming to you live from Wote, the headquarters of Makueni County. And as you said, whatever the case is happening there in Nairobi is not having any effect here at the ground. All the campaign outfits are out there in search of that crucial vote in the last minute because, you know, the election is coming up this Friday, so they only have today to make sure that they salvage any kind of vote. And this thing is turning very expensive, Willis. We've seen choppers now in the air all over Makueni, hovering above, hopping from town to town just to get that crucial vote at this last minute. We caught up with all the campaign trails for Jubilee, CORD, although we did not manage to get the other political aspirants for the candidates for the Makueni senatorial race. Here is just a brief report that shows you just how the campaigns have been heightened and they are leaving nothing to chance just to make sure that they get that crucial vote. Watch this.
Choppers are once again in the air, hovering across Makueni County in a vote hunting mission. In the rush to make the most of the limited time remaining and to reach out to as many voters as possible, choppers have become the preferred mode of transport. Yesterday and today, a total of 6 choppers were in the Makueni airspace, hopping from market to another in the vast county. The CORD team has today dispatched 2 campaign groups, one led by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and the other Ford Kenya leader Moses Wetangula. CORD leader Raila Odinga is expected to join Junior's campaign trail, which will concentrate in Kibwezi, Matiliku, Kambo and Mutituandei.
Sisi tutapiga kura na tutampigia kijana yetu watake wasitake.
Hakuna kizuizi kingine. Hakuna kizuizi, sasa ni kura yako kumpigia Junior.
Muonyeshe hawa watu kwamba watu wa Makueni awatishiki, awatingishiki, atubanduki, na tunaenda na Mutula mpaka mahali ataenda.
Kura ya Jubilee hapa. Kura ya Jubilee iko. Kura ya Jubilee iko.
The Jubilee team campaigns for Professor Philip Kaloki have also intensified, with Jubilee leaders joining to strengthen the force. Senators Ture Kindi and Kipchumba Murkomen are among Jubilee leaders who reinforced Kaloki's campaign brigade yesterday, but Kaloki's campaign's manager revealed that more leaders will be joining them today.
Jamii zote za Kenya ni moja. Na ule mtu anataka kutuletea mambo ya watu kuitana majina kwa sababu wametoka jamii mbalimbali, ayambiwe ya kwamba ni Mungu aliweka wa Kenya pamoja kama taifa moja.
Tupigie Kaloki kura ili aingie kwa serikali. Makueni tuwe na kiongozi ambaye wa kisiasa katika serikali.
The Jubilee bandwagon is currently campaigning in Kiboko in Kilome constituency.
Well, Willis, that is just to give you a glimpse of how things are going on here in Makueni. That is the last minute rush for votes, making sure that whatever the outcome of the case that is happening in Nairobi, they will be ready to face each other in the by-election that is happening on Friday. Of course, the IEBC has assured us that they've put everything in place. They've been working round the clock to ensure that everything in place. They, bearing in mind that their credibility has been highly doubted by the CORD side, which have always attacked them, telling them they are not credible enough to be able to run elections. But they are trying to prove that they will be able to do a good job in this by-election. So from Makueni County, of course, we'll keep you updated on any developments as we move now towards the final touches and finally the by-election on Friday. Back to you, Willis Raburu.
Thank you very much, Kendago Obadiah there. As Kendago has said, we will keep you covered. Kendago is there in Makueni. Alex Chamwada is at the court. And so, as you know, Citizen TV, as you expect us, will have our teams all over and we'll give you the latest in that regard. Time now for a short break. When we return, we'll have business and sports with Bernard Ndong. Stay with Citizen at 1.